Hello, this is Mary Beth, the Jersey Girl Crafts. Welcome to my podcast. Today is January 20th, 2020. I have a few things to go over with you. I actually took notes to try and get through everything within 30 minutes, which is my whole thing this year, is just put out there everything that would make you happy, that you want to see, and try and leave off all the yap that I do, because I am a talker. If this is your first time to the podcast, I want to say thank you. If this is a returning viewer, I want to say thank you very much for returning, and I hope everyone enjoys the video. I have the end of this head cold that I've been battling. Last week I was dog sitting and house sitting, so I wasn't home all week. I was hoping to do a podcast while I was away, but without everything around me, it was hard to do that, so I didn't. I figured I would wait today because today is really special. Yesterday, I went to Vogue Knitting Live in New York City, and it was their last day. So I went, and it was amazing. My boyfriend and I took the train in. He actually went into the marketplace with me, and we went and bought and viewed and touched all the yarn. Well, he didn't. He doesn't understand it, the whole touching and smelling of yarn. But I didn't smell because of getting over the head cold. I didn't hug. I was very good. Even though I did see a couple of podcasters, I would have liked to say hello and, kind of get to know in person. I didn't. So let's get on with it. I live in New Jersey with my boyfriend and 4 cats. We have Callie and Tiger. They're our babies. They're about 1.5 years, and they are brother and sister. Then I have Shadow and Reggie. They're about 3 years old, and they're sisters. So they were all strays that we had taken in. I'm about 10 minutes away from the beach, and I have a lot to show you, so let me try and get to it all. I have stuff to the right of me and stuff on the floor behind me. Well, not on the floor, but in a basket. Excuse me. Crystal Light iced tea as usual. So, you can find me on Instagram as the Jersey Girl Crafts, and it's Jersey, not Jersey. Ravelry as Jersey Girl Crafts. I'm on there, but not that often, so I don't have a lot of stuff on there. I want to try and make a point of doing that this year. And on Facebook, you can find me as the Jersey Girl Crafts. I also have my own website, thejerseygirlcrafts.com, where I sell some of my stuff and some of my hand-dyed yarn. I'm going to, hopefully within this year, start blogging through there and just kind of get to know everybody. So, Vogue Knitting Live New York 2020. I went there for a class, and I needed a size 4 circular as well as a size 6 circular. So that was my goal, not only to see all the yarn and go to a couple of different shops that I knew I wanted to go to. I knew I needed to get a size 6 circular needle. So I went and I picked up from the Knit Long Island, and that is their store. I picked up some knitting needles, and I picked up Likey. It's a driftwood needle, size 6, US 6, 40 inch. And there's the info. So I picked them up, and I wasn't sure how I would like it because I'm not really a big fan of the bamboo. I used to really enjoy bamboo. But then once I got my Chagoos and I got my Addy, I fell in love with the metal needles. But there are times that you need wooden needles or, bamboo or something. So I got myself a pair of that, which I will show you the needles when I get to the class part. I played a claw game. It was so nice on, I believe it was the 7th floor where they have all the classes. There were, the 4th floor was where you checked your code in, which was really nice. I didn't have to carry my code around. And then the 4th floor was also registration, or was it the 5th? No, the 5th and 6th floor were, they handed out these wonderful maps. And on this map, they told you all the information, all the booths, where to find everything. 6th floor, you had a marketplace, the special event stage, which they had fashion shows and stuff, which was really interesting. They did have 2 ball winding stations where they would, I can't talk. They would wind your skeins of yarn for you. That was on the 6th floor. The 7th floor was where you had all of your classes, and I believe lectures up there. That's where they had the yarn claw game. That was so much fun. And it's just like an amusement park, and all the money was donated, but I'm not sure where it was donated to. I don't remember. But you paid either $1 or $2, so it's either 1 reach with the claw or 2. And I actually did $2, and I actually got the claw, reached in and got these balls, and if the ball went in the thing, just like the arcade games, then you won a prize. Well, this was one of my prizes, Premier Anti-Pilling Yarn, and the color is Mousy Gray. It's an everyday worsted yarn and 203 yards, anti-pilling, 100% acrylic. So it's called Mousy Gray, and I really like it. I love this yarn, so I was really happy to win this. You kind of got to pick what you wanted, and that was definitely what I wanted. And then one I've never heard of with my second win was Wisdom Yarns Poems Sock, 75 superwash, 25 nylon, machine washable, 100 grams, 420 meters, and the colorway is just a number 956. So this was that. Was that upside down? Sorry. So that's this yarn. Look how pretty. So yeah, I picked this up, and oops, that's the color. There it is. So yeah, I got that in the claw game, and it was a lot of fun to play, and a lot of women were playing it, and there were knitting needles and crochet hooks and all kinds of different yarn, and they would just like keep bringing out different yarn. So that was fun. So that was on the 7th floor with the classes. The 8th floor I didn't even go to, but there were lectures on the 8th floor. On the 4th floor was, I got some wool right in my nose. Hat Not Heat was there. West Knits was there. Registration was on the 4th floor. That was really interesting. I didn't have to register because I had gotten my badge in the mail, but my boyfriend decided instead of walking around New York without me, he would go to the marketplace and hold my bags, which was really cool. So if you can get yourself a pack mule, that's really cool. So he held everything for me. We took the train up to New York, which was really, really fun. I don't know if I told you that. We went from Point Pleasant, New Jersey into the train stopped in Long Branch. We had switched trains, which was only about 4-minute wait. And then we went into Penn Station. From Penn Station, we walked about, I believe it was 8 blocks to the Marriott Marquis on Times Square. And with a head cold, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to. And sometimes with the head cold and sinus and everything, then I get the asthma and I can't breathe. So I wasn't sure if I could walk it, but I walked it no problem. We had a wonderful time walking it. Boy, he walks fast. I thought I did, but damn, he blew me away. Anyhow, so that was the 4th floor. And I think also on the 4th floor was the coat check, which was really, really nice to just put all my coats. The 5th floor was Ask the Experts, Knitting Live Tours by Vogue. Raffles were going off there. So let me see what else. I thought the 5th floor, yeah, the 5th floor and the 6th floor were all the yarn. So that was the whole map of where all the yarn was. And right here was, you got the elevator, which by the way were glass elevators. They were beautiful. So you got off the elevator and there was yarn vendors all on the sides. Then you went in here or here, and this was all the area for the vendors inside the ballroom on the 5th floor. And then the 6th floor, again, out of the elevators, you had vendors all around here, and you went in either place and all the vendors were inside. The fashion show, I believe, yeah, fashion show was on the 6th floor. That was really beautiful. That was going on every time I turned around. There was something up on the fashion show floor. Supposedly there was special events, fashion show, lectures, yoga, and more. I kept seeing fashion shows and lectures. I didn't stop to see any of the lectures, but I definitely saw some of the fashion show, and it was beautiful. We're into 12 minutes, and I want to make sure I do 30 minutes, and that's it. So that was where everything was. The next one I went to was and I want to make sure I get, here we go. With everything, I actually got the cards. Now, I wanted to go to Barnyard Knits because I followed them on Instagram, and they had a special colorway just for Vogue Knitting New York. And here they are, Barnyard Knits. And here is their information. You should really follow them on Instagram or go to their store. They have absolutely beautiful yarn. I've actually seen them a couple other places. Excuse me. I hadn't bought their yarn prior, but this time I made a beeline to their booth. That's the one thing. I watched one of the podcasts, and they went through the 5th floor and they showed where Barnyard Knits was, so that's where I ran to. Look at this. And the colors in here are so pretty. So pretty. These grays with just pops of pink and red. This is coming out a little bit lighter than what it is. It's a little more like this in real life, a little darker. So this is their sock fingering, 75 superwash merino, 25 nylon, 463 yards. Of course, we're not going to focus. My camera doesn't like to focus half the time. And the colorway was New York City. So that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to get it, is because it said New York City. Now on Instagram I saw it with sparkle. That's what I wanted, but this was the very last one. So I was so grateful that I was able to grab this. He's like, oh, you could do a pre-order and buy it on online, but my main focus was really to get this yarn because I just fell in love with it when I saw it on Instagram. So I bought the very last one. I was so excited. Next one I got was Zen Yarn Garden. And let me try and find their stuff. All right, here's their card. If you can see it. And there's their information where you can find them. And it's on Facebook.com, Zen Yarn Garden. Instagram is Zen Yarn Garden. I'm definitely going to follow them. And their website is www.zenyarngarden.com. And I've never seen their yarns before, but I was walking past and one of these colorways just grabbed my eye. The minute I went in to grab it, this one just took over. Look at this. Look at how pretty. And there's their card. And this is called the Met. Now, it was, what's the word I want? What's the word? Words fail. Inspired by Captain George K.H. Cosmaker by Sir Joshua Reynolds, and it's in the Met, and it's an artwork, and the colorway is the Met, and it's inspired by this painting. Let's see if I can get this better. It's hard to see the painting, but it's, even on the card here, it's hard to see the painting, but their colors are beautiful. And I got the super fine fingering weight, 90 superwash merino, 10 nylon, 400 yards. Yeah, not focusing. Never wants to focus. So I got this. This just called to me. Absolutely called to me. This is more of a burnt orangey color, not so red. But of course the lighting, yeah, no matter where I put it, you're not gonna, oh, maybe like that. But the yarn is so soft and so beautiful. So I got that. Next I went to, well, the very first one I ran in to see was 100 Ravens. I love their yarn, and everywhere I've went, I've bought their yarn. A lot of my projects are in my Wonder Woman bag from 100 Ravens. So I put a lot of projects in there. A lot of my socks and stuff that I bring to wherever, that's where I usually hold them. So I went to their booth immediately. That was my first one. And look at that. Set of gradient minis, 100 Ravens. And this is, excuse me, 100 yards, 400 yards, 100 grams, 100% merino wool, fingering 2-ply, definitely a superwash, and Manhattan Skyway is the name. So there's the name. There's all the info. I actually follow 100 Ravens. I absolutely love them. I didn't get their card, but they are at www.100ravens.com. Their yarn is beautiful. I've seen them at Stitches United. I've seen them both times I went to the Allentown Fiber Festival. I'm not sure where they're located. I'm thinking somewhere in the Carolinas, but I'm not positive. I have to look that up one day. But they're amazing. Their yarn is absolutely beautiful. Like I said, I have quite a few of their yarns, and I'm in love. The next one I got was, I actually hit the booth of Neighborhood Fiber Company. I have some of her yarn. I've actually visited her in Baltimore, Maryland. Her shop is beautiful. And I picked up this gorgeous skein. Look at those colors. Now, can you kind of see where I'm going this year with my colors? Gray. All different colors of gray. So, I got this. This is her studio sock, 100% superwash merino, 400 yards. And the color is Times Square. Now, have you noticed the trend? New York City, Times Square, Manhattan Skyway, and the Met. Everything had to do with New York. So back to the Neighborhood Fiber Company. Her yarns are beautiful. If you get a chance to go to her store in Baltimore, it's definitely worth it. Go to her website, and she has all kinds of stuff, plans where you can dye your own yarn. She's got days where she's open to the public, and she's got little vendors that come in. I actually went to one of those, which was wonderful. So yeah, her yarn is absolutely beautiful. I have a couple of her yarns. Sorry, I'm putting hand cream on. My hands are like very dry. The weather's been crazy here. It was 28 degrees in the morning yesterday, and then it went up to 40. So it was extremely cold and windy going in. It was okay while we were there, and coming home, it was 28 degrees. So it's just been crazy in New Jersey and New York. The weather has been, last weekend it was 60 degrees, and then it just dropped. Crazy. So while I was at Vogue Knitting, I did go to their booth. They had beautiful books, and I was going to pick up a book, but I have, as you can see, all these books up here, plus I have a lot of books in a box that I need to bring in. I got the Vogue Knitting Live tote bag. So just a simple tote bag. And then I picked up, which I thought was amazing, it says Create Together Vogue Knitting. I got their pin. Let me see if I can take it out of the bag so it's not so shiny. So I got their enamel pin. I thought it was very cute. Now, the best part of this is all products will be donated to the one of the backings is blocking. I'm sorry, I can't even get it off. I can't get the backing off in order to see. See, it's blocking the words. But it's whatever institute that is to further vital work with the LGBT youth. This charity was chosen by the Diversity Advisory Council because of its inclusion, advocacy, and support work. So there's that. That's one of the reasons I got it, to include everyone, make everyone feel they're worthwhile and special, and I hate to see anyone excluded from anything. I was very privileged growing up. I didn't see a lot growing up. The town I grew in was very Caucasian, very middle class. My father worked very hard to support the family, worked 2 jobs at times, but I did not see a lot of what was going on in the world. We were fairly sheltered. So as I got older, and now I'm 55, I know there was a lot of hardships out there, and a lot of people treated very unfairly due to the color of their skin or who they choose to love. So I want to make sure that I always think of that now. Since, like I said, I was very, I don't know, I didn't see a lot of that growing up. I took 26 minutes. I have to rush through this now, and I didn't want to, but I took a class by Mina Philipp. It was Level Up Your Knitting. Try and move some of this out of the way really fast so I could keep going. And it was a class to go over her Changes shawl. It's beautiful. There's Mina. So it was from 2 o'clock till 5 o'clock. It was so amazing and so worth the money and the time, and even with the head cold going up there, because I kind of decided I wasn't sure I should go, just getting over head colds, but I really wanted to go. She taught a lot of different stitches that I'd never tried before, and here's my little sample that we did. And you start with just the rectangle, and then you do here and here, but then you, which I've never done before except for a heel flap and gusset, you actually picked up stitches. You held these stitches on a different needle. I know it looks a mess. And then these are the working needle, so you started a different section. It's amazing the way her mind thought of this. Like, if you look at, and I'm not going to show any vital parts of the shawl, but these are the different parts. Like, this was what we did, the sample of. Then you go to here, then you split off to here, and then there. It's just amazing. And see if I can get the whole picture. That's the whole picture of the shawl. It's so beautiful. And I think this might be my challenge this year, to try and get that done, because it's just so pretty. I used Malabrigo yarn for this, and then for these, that's the wrong side, this in here, I used 2 mini skeins I had from Black Sheep Dye Works, and I know I showed them on my last, but I used these. No, I didn't use that color. I used this color, and my voice is starting to go. Those 2. So I held them up with this to do my little thing. And then this was my new knitting needles I told you, with the driftwood. These are gorgeous needles to work with. Like right here, there's no, the yarn didn't get caught on anything. The needles are beautiful. The only thing I don't like, it kind of held the curl, which is driving me crazy. So once I take this off the needles, I definitely want to try and get that curl out. But the class was amazing. Mina was absolutely She's beautiful. She's so sweet. I mean, I know you take a class and you expect a teacher to teach, but not always does that happen. She didn't leave us on our own. You know, she told us, well, do this because it was the basic of casting on and all. But then every single stitch that we learned, and some of us were beginners, some of us were a little advanced beginner, but she was right there, and she just jumped from one person to another to help them, to make sure they understood. She showed you how to do the stitch, then let you do the stitch. It was amazing taking her class, and if you ever get a chance to do it, definitely. She's the knitting expat. She's got a YouTube channel, and she's just amazing. I keep joking, there's two people I want to be when I grow up. Mina, and I think her name is Caroline, I might be wrong, from Dunder Knits. So, Dunder Knits and the Knitting Expat. If I could just grow up and be them and learn how to knit like them, I would be so happy. Really happy. Alright, so I'm going to go really fast because I have like 2 minutes before my video runs out. I know it will. This is the hat I made from Black Cat Fiber. I know I showed you, I think I showed you that I was starting it. So this is the hat I made. I'm not going to put it on. And I put a little pom-pom. But yeah, this hat from Black Cat Fiber was just a simple vanilla hat with 2x2 rib and plain knit stitch. I made this and it kept me nice and warm in the city. Then I had crocheted this cowl, and this was nice and high on my neck, and it kept me nice and warm in the city. So that's what I wore into the city with my green coat. It's like a hunter green coat, olive green, hunter green. That's what I wore. So it's 32 minutes. I don't want the video to cut out. I'm going to leave you here and say thank you very much for joining me. And I hope to see you again. And I will go over all my finished objects, which I don't have much of, and show you my whip, which is pretty much only a pair of socks. So I will show you that the next time I'm on here. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and if you don't like it, but please tell me why, because I want to make this better so people can enjoy, because I enjoy like watching other podcasters, and I want people to enjoy my content and what I need to do to make it better. So thank you again, and have a wonderful week.